The Beverly Hillbillies brought joy and laughter to millions, becoming one of the most iconic sitcoms of all time. But behind the laughter, the lives of its 36 cast members were often marked by untold tragedy and heartbreak. In this video, we delve into the shocking and emotional stories of how these beloved stars met their untimely ends. From mysterious circumstances to struggles with fame and personal battles, their journeys reveal the hidden darkness behind Hollywood's glittering facade. Join us as we uncover the tragic fates of the faces that made this show unforgettable. This is a story you won't want to miss. Donna Douglas, born on September 26, 1932, embodied the youthful energy and innocence of Ellie Mae Clampett, a role she embraced at 30 years old in 1962. Known for her radiant smile and southern charm, Donna became a symbol of vitality on screen, but her personal life was fraught with challenges. Her marriage to Roland Bourgeois Jr., the father of her only son Danny, ended in heartbreak when their relationship dissolved under the weight of her rising fame. A second marriage to Robert Leeds also ended in divorce, leaving her disillusioned about love. Professionally, Donna faced typecasting, her beauty and association with Ellie Mae hindering her ambitions to be taken seriously as an actress. In the 1970s, she fought a high-profile legal battle against Disney over merchandising rights, a struggle that left her emotionally and financially drained. Despite her efforts to pivot to singing and motivational speaking, Donna's career never recaptured its earlier heights. Her twilight years were spent advocating for her faith and connecting with fans who adored her as Ellie Mae. However, her life was cut short by a battle with pancreatic cancer, which claimed her on January 1, 2015, at the age of 82. Buddy Ebsen, born on April 2, 1908, was destined for the stage, yet his journey to fame was riddled with despair. Cast as Jed Clampett, the lovable patriarch of the Beverly Hillbillies, Buddy brought warmth and wisdom to audiences. At 54 years old, he portrayed Jed's sharp wit and folksy charm, masking his own inner turmoil. Early in his career, Buddy's dreams of dancing on screen were shattered when his lungs were permanently scarred by aluminum powder used during his ill-fated casting as the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz. Though he survived, he lived with chronic health issues. His personal life was equally tumultuous. Married twice, he divorced his first wife, Ruth, after years of strained finances and the death of their second child at birth. His second marriage to Dorothy Knott was happier, though the scars of his past often loomed large. Buddy's two daughters from these unions distanced themselves, resentful of a father who was present only on screen. Later in life, he found solace in writing, but the rejection of his unpublished novel stung. On July 6, 2003, at 95, Buddy passed away due to respiratory failure, leaving behind a legacy marred by unfulfilled aspirations and familial rifts. Raymond Bailey was born on May 6, 1904, in San Francisco, California. He became known for portraying Milburn Drysdale in the Beverly Hillbillies, 1962 to 1971, the scheming banker who tried to manage the chaotic Clampett family. At the age of 58, when the show began, Bailey brought a sense of tension and ambition to the role of Drysdale, whose obsession with money and status led to a variety of comic situations. However, Bailey's own life was marked by professional struggles that cast a shadow over his later years. Although his career began with some promise, he faced many years of financial instability after the Beverly Hillbillies ended. His marriage, too, was troubled. Bailey had 2 children from a marriage that ended in divorce. His relationships were strained, and he rarely found lasting happiness in his personal life. Tragically, Bailey's own story became a kind of personal misfortune as his health declined. The years of stress and financial worries took their toll, and on April 15, 1980, at the age of 75, Raymond Bailey passed away from a heart attack. His death marked the end of a life marked by quiet desperation and unfulfilled potential. Irene Ryan, born on October 17, 1902, captivated audiences as the fiery and comedic Granny, Daisy Moses. She was 60 when she stepped into this role in 1962, bringing decades of vaudeville and radio experience to the screen. But Irene's laughter often concealed a lifetime of pain. Widowed young after her first husband, writer Tim Ryan, succumbed to alcoholism. Irene's second marriage to Harold Knox proved tumultuous, ending in a bitter divorce that left her financially strained. With no children of her own, she often spoke of the family she found in her co-stars, but behind the scenes, she struggled with loneliness. In 1969, she suffered the devastating loss of her beloved sister, which triggered a downward spiral in her mental health. Despite continuing to perform, she grew increasingly frail. A stroke suffered during a performance of Pippin led to her hospitalization, where she passed away on April 26, 1973, at the age of 70. Her death marked the end of a remarkable yet sorrow-filled life. To many, she was Granny, a symbol of resilience and humor, but to those closest to her, she was a woman haunted by loss and longing. Bea Benaderet, born on April 4, 1906, was a versatile actress who played the role of cousin Pearl Bodine in the Beverly Hillbillies. Pearl was a lively, boisterous woman, full of humor and charm, always ready to inject energy into the show. When she joined the series in 1962, Bea was 56 years old, and her portrayal of the larger-than-life character brought a unique flavor to the series. However, her own life was filled with challenges and sorrows. Bea had a string of failed marriages, the first to actor and producer, Eugene Twombly, which ended in divorce after only a few years. Later, she remarried to actor and director, Raymond S. Harris, but this union too was marred by separation. Bea had no children, though her love for her family was evident in her professional work. But despite her success, tragedy struck. In 1968, Bea was diagnosed with lung cancer, a devastating blow to a woman who had worked tirelessly in Hollywood for over 3 decades. She continued to work even as she battled the disease, but her health rapidly declined. Bea passed away on October 13, 1968, at the age of 62, leaving behind a legacy of laughter but also a story of personal heartbreak, as the world learned too late of the turmoil she had faced behind the scenes. Harriet E. Gibbon, born on October 5, 1905, in Boston, Massachusetts, was 57 years old when she joined the Beverly Hillbillies as Mrs. Margaret Drysdale. A sophisticated and witty socialite, Margaret was the perfect match for her husband, Milburn, and Gibbon's performance captured the elegance and sometimes snobbery of the character. Though she was well established in her career, Gibbon's personal life was not without its challenges. She had been married twice, and both marriages ended in divorce. Her only child, a daughter, struggled with addiction issues that caused significant emotional turmoil for Gibbon. Over the years, the actress faced financial difficulties and lived in relative obscurity after the end of the Beverly Hillbillies. Despite these personal and professional setbacks, Gibbon maintained a strong public image, though behind the scenes, her life was marked by a deep sense of loss and regret. In the later years of her life, her health deteriorated, and she was diagnosed with pulmonary disease. On February 8, 1987, at the age of 81, she passed away, leaving behind a legacy of elegance and a life marked by silent heartache and struggles. Nancy Kulp, born on August 28, 1921, in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, was 41 years old when she first appeared as Jane Hathaway in the Beverly Hillbillies. Jane, the smart, well-mannered secretary to Mr. Drysdale, became a fan favorite, known for her unrequited love for the wealthy banker. Kulp's portrayal of the character brought depth to a role that was often used for comedic relief, giving her a unique place in the show. However, Kulp's own life was much more tragic. While her career in Hollywood had promising moments, Kulp struggled to maintain it once the show ended. Her personal life was marred by loneliness, with several failed relationships. She never married, and rumors circulated about her sexual orientation, which, during that time, caused her significant distress. On top of that, she had a hard time finding roles that matched her talent, leading to a feeling of professional decline. Her health, too, became a concern when she was diagnosed with cancer. Kulp fought bravely against the illness but eventually succumbed on February 3, 1991, at the age of 69. The end of her life, filled with personal turmoil and a fading career, was a tragic reminder of how fleeting fame can be. Sharon Tate, born on January 24, 1943, was a rising star in Hollywood when she appeared as Janet Trago in the Beverly Hillbillies in 1963. At just 20 years old, Sharon brought a glamorous, refined elegance to her role, playing a character who was both charming and beautiful. Her life, however, would take a tragic and horrifying turn. Sharon's early career was marked by success, as she appeared in several films and became a fashion icon. She married director Roman Polanski in 1968, and the couple seemed to have a perfect life ahead of them. Sharon was pregnant with their first child, a son, when fate struck a cruel blow. In 1969, Sharon's life was cut short in one of the most shocking crimes in Hollywood history. On the night of August 9, 1969, Sharon, along with 4 others, was brutally murdered by members of the Manson family cult. At just 26 years old, her life and the promising career she had ahead of her were tragically stolen away. The loss of Sharon Tate sent shockwaves through the entertainment world and left a void that would never be filled. Her death remains one of the darkest moments in Hollywood's history, a symbol of both innocence lost and the depths of human cruelty. Mike Minor, born on December 7, 1940, was the handsome and charming Steve Elliott, a love interest for Ellie Mae Clampett in the Beverly Hillbillies. Mike's portrayal of the dashing young man, with his charisma and good looks, brought a breath of fresh air to the show. When he joined in 1968, Mike was just 27 years old, at the peak of his youth and ambition. However, his life was far from perfect. Mike's early success as an actor did not protect him from the harsh realities of the entertainment industry. Despite his on-screen chemistry with co-stars, his off-screen relationships were troubled, marked by a series of failed romances. His marriage to actress Linda Kay Henning ended in a bitter divorce, and though they had no children together, Mike's emotional wounds from the failed union lingered throughout his life. The darker side of fame became all too real for Mike, as his career struggled to take off after the Beverly Hillbillies ended. The roles he longed for were few, and the pressures of maintaining a public image weighed heavily on him. Eventually, Mike was diagnosed with cancer, which took its toll both physically and emotionally. His health deteriorated quickly, and in the final years of his life, he withdrew from the public eye, keeping his personal struggles hidden. Mike passed away on January 28, 2016, at the age of 75. Frank Wilcox, born on March 13, 1907, was an accomplished actor who portrayed John Brewster, a cunning, ambitious businessman, in the Beverly Hillbillies. When he joined the show in 1962, Frank was 55 years old. His character was always scheming and plotting, a role he performed with ease, bringing a sense of sophistication to the otherwise rustic world of the Clampetts. Behind the scenes, Frank's life was filled with its own set of trials. He had several failed marriages, and though he did have children, the strain of his personal life affected his professional career. Despite being a reliable actor, his career in Hollywood didn't always flourish. He often found himself relegated to character roles rather than leading parts, which left him with a sense of unfulfilled potential. In his later years, Frank struggled with his health, and in 1974, his life came to an abrupt end when he died of a heart attack on March 3, at the age of 66. His death marked the end of a career that had spanned several decades but had been marred by personal disappointments and a constant battle with fading recognition in a fast-changing industry. Frank's passing, though not widely mourned, marked the quiet end of a Hollywood era. Milton Friedman's career was marked by steady work, but his life bore the scars of personal trials and misfortune. Born on February 24, 1909, he became known for his portrayal of Lawrence Chapman in the Beverly Hillbillies, a character whose stern, no-nonsense demeanor contrasted sharply with the eccentricity of the Clampett family. At 55, when he joined the show in 1964, Friedman was already a seasoned actor, yet his fame would forever be intertwined with his role as the irritable Chapman. Despite his professional success, Friedman's personal life was rife with heartache. His first marriage ended in a bitter divorce, leaving him estranged from his children. His second marriage, although promising at first, also crumbled under the weight of his personal demons. In the late 1970s, Milton struggled with depression, a silent battle he fought alone, far from the spotlight that once adored him. Yet, even in his later years, he tried to rekindle the family bonds he'd lost, though time and tragedy had irreparably fractured them. One of his most painful memories was the sudden death of his youngest daughter in a car accident in 1980, a tragedy that deepened his sense of isolation. Milton Friedman died on March 21, 1989, at the age of 80. Ray Kellogg, born on November 12, 1919, played the gate guard in the Beverly Hillbillies, a character known for his dutiful, ever-watchful presence. At 44, Kellogg was a character actor who had worked steadily in film and television before landing his recurring role on the beloved sitcom. The guard was often seen as a simple, almost invisible figure, a role Kellogg embraced with understated finesse. However, behind the scenes, Kellogg's life was far from as orderly as his character. He had been married twice, both unions crumbled under the weight of his professional and personal challenges. His first wife left him after several years, citing his emotional distance and increasing bouts of alcoholism. His second marriage was marred by infidelity, and they separated in the late 1970s, leaving Kellogg more withdrawn than ever. The loss of his second marriage crushed him, and it marked the beginning of his downward spiral. His struggles with addiction grew more severe as he tried to cope with the emotional wreckage of his personal life. Despite these troubles, Ray was still working when a sudden heart attack claimed his life on September 26, 1981, at the age of 61. Arthur Gould Porter, born on January 4, 1905, was a distinguished actor who portrayed Ravenswood, the dignified but often overshadowed character in the Beverly Hillbillies. Joining the show in 1962 at the age of 57, Arthur brought gravitas to the small screen with his calm demeanor and powerful presence. His career had once been full of promise, but by the time he took on the role of Ravenswood, he was already in the twilight of his career. Arthur's personal life was just as complex and layered as his characters. He married twice. His first wife, whom he adored, tragically passed away young, leaving Arthur devastated and broken. His second marriage to actress Jean Porter ended in a bitter divorce after years of emotional turmoil. Arthur was never able to fully reconcile with the pain of losing love. He had no children, and his relationships with his family members grew increasingly strained over time. The loneliness and regret of his later years often seemed to haunt him. He found solace only in his acting, but by the time he left the set of the Beverly Hillbillies in the early 70s, his health had begun to deteriorate. Arthur passed away on January 2, 1987, at the age of 81, due to natural causes. Earl Scruggs, born January 6, 1924, was a pioneer in bluegrass music, and his appearance as himself on the Beverly Hillbillies in 1963 was a rare television moment for the legendary banjo player. At 39, Scruggs was already a well-known figure in the world of country music, having helped redefine the banjo with his unique three-finger picking style. He appeared on the show with his musical partner, Lester Flatt, bringing a dose of authenticity to the fictional world of the Clampetts. However, Scruggs' life was not without its struggles. His first marriage to Louise Scruggs, his manager, was a long and prosperous one, but after her death in 2006, Earl was deeply affected, losing not only a partner but his professional anchor. Scruggs found himself increasingly withdrawn, his music the only solace in his loneliness. He was devastated by the loss of his son, Gary, who passed away in a car accident in 1997, a tragedy that shook him to his core and changed his approach to life. Scruggs never fully recovered from that blow. In his final years, his health deteriorated rapidly as he struggled with a number of illnesses, and he died on March 28, 2012, at the age of 88 from natural cause. Elia Alman's life was a bittersweet symphony of triumphs and losses, a path marked by resilience but shadowed by solitude. Born on September 19, 1904, Elia played Elverna Bradshaw, a no-nonsense, stern woman in the Beverly Hillbillies, a role she took on when she was 59 years old in 1963. Elverna was the type of character who commanded respect but left little room for warmth or affection, a portrayal that mirrored some aspects of Elia's own personal life. Despite a promising career in radio and films, Elia's private life was more turbulent. Married twice, her relationships were marked by tension and eventual separations, leaving her with little familial connection. Her first marriage ended in divorce, and though her second marriage seemed hopeful, it too crumbled under the weight of growing emotional distance. Elvia had no children, and as the years passed, her loneliness deepened, leading to emotional hardships. Her later years were spent largely in solitude, her health declining. In her final years, she found comfort in quiet reflection, surrounded by memories of a career that spanned decades but lacked the love she so dearly desired. Elia Alman passed away on March 6, 1992, at the age of 87, from natural causes. Roger Tory's story was one of lost potential and fading hope. Born on May 9, 1938, Roger was just 31 when he joined the Beverly Hillbillies in 1969 as Mark Templeton, a calm and charming figure who served as a foil to the eccentric characters around him. Despite his good looks and talent, Roger struggled to find lasting success in Hollywood. His career never reached the heights that many had predicted, and the roles he took were often forgettable. Behind the scenes, Roger's personal life was a series of disappointments. He was married twice, but both unions were fraught with turmoil. His first wife, a fellow actress, left him for another man, and his second marriage ended in a bitter divorce. Despite the pain, Roger tried to move on, but his emotional scars ran deep. His love life, much like his career, seemed to spiral out of control. The real tragedy of Roger's life, however, came in the form of his mental health. He battled depression and, ultimately, suffered a fatal brain hemorrhage on December 17, 1985, at the age of 47. His death was a tragic reminder of how fleeting fame and success can be, leaving behind a life that never truly reached its full potential. Charles Lane's life, marked by a string of roles as strict, no-nonsense characters, was far from the tranquil image he portrayed on screen. Born on January 26, 1905, he entered the world of acting with fervor, appearing in numerous films and TV shows. In the Beverly Hillbillies, Charles Lane was cast as Foster Finney, a rigid businessman who maintained an air of authority and seriousness. He was 58 when he joined the show in 1963. Yet, behind the stern facade, Charles struggled with loneliness, his personal life shadowed by the demands of his profession. His first marriage to actress Barbara Loden, though passionate, ended in bitterness and eventual separation. His second marriage, though more stable, couldn't shield him from the hardship of an industry that often overlooked his talents. Even in his later years, Charles faced dwindling roles, with much of his life becoming a struggle to regain relevance in a changing Hollywood. But the real tragedy lay in his inner battles, the profound loneliness of an aging actor and the endless search for personal fulfillment that seemed to elude him. His final years were filled with quiet reflections on the choices he had made. On July 9, 2007, at 102 years old, Charles Lane passed away due to natural causes. Richard Caldecott, born on October 7, 1908, was a seasoned actor who brought elegance and refinement to his role as John Faversham in the Beverly Hillbillies. Cast in 1967 at 59 years old, Richard's portrayal of the dignified millionaire was a fitting reflection of his real-life persona, calm, sophisticated, and often the voice of reason among the chaos. However, his career was not as serene as his roles might suggest. Richard's early career was marked by minor roles and occasional struggles to find his place in the industry. His marriage to actress Elspeth March was full of high hopes, but the pressures of their respective careers led to a slow unraveling. By the time they parted ways, Richard's professional life had started to fade, and his love life was marred by heartbreak. The loss of his second wife to illness only deepened his grief, leading him into a quiet retirement. In his later years, Richard found solace in his children, who often became the anchors in his turbulent existence. Despite the sadness that seemed to pervade his life, he managed to maintain dignity until the end. Richard Caldecott passed away on October 16, 1995, at the age of 87. Larry Pennell, born on February 21, 1928, was Dash Rip Rock, the handsome and charismatic bachelor who captured the hearts of many in the Beverly Hillbillies. At 37, when he joined the show in 1965, Larry was already an accomplished actor, but the role of Dash was his breakout moment. Riprock's easy charm and good looks contrasted with the oddities of the Clampett family, and for a time, it seemed like Larry's career would soar. However, his personal life told a different story. Larry was married twice, both unions marked by struggle and eventual separation. His first marriage to an actress ended in a bitter divorce, and his second marriage also fell apart after a few years, leaving him with 2 children from both marriages. While his career was steady, it never reached the stardom that many believed it could, and Larry's personal battles with relationships and family left him feeling isolated. Despite his public persona as a charming, carefree actor, Larry's private life was plagued by the same turmoil he portrayed on screen. In his later years, Larry found solace in his family and friends but could not outrun the quiet sorrow of missed opportunities. He passed away peacefully at the age of 85 on August 28, 2013, from natural causes. Venita Wolf, born on September 1, 1945, was a promising young actress who played Miss Murray, a glamorous and captivating character on the Beverly Hillbillies. At just 21 years old, Venita seemed destined for fame and fortune when she joined the show in 1966. However, her career was a delicate house of cards, often fragile and susceptible to the whims of Hollywood. Despite her early success, Venita's personal life was a continuous spiral of disappointment. Her first marriage ended in an acrimonious divorce, and her attempts at finding lasting love seemed doomed. Her career, too, was an emotional roller coaster. She struggled to secure major roles after the Beverly Hillbillies, facing typecasting in an industry that seemed to forget her. Even more painful was the loss of her second child, which shattered her emotionally and pushed her into a period of isolation. Despite her battle with depression, she fought bravely, but the pressures of a life under public scrutiny wore her thin. Venita's struggles culminated in a long battle with multiple myeloma, a disease that left her physically frail but spiritually unwavering. Venita Wolf passed away on November 22, 2014, at the age of 69, surrounded by family who had supported her through her final, painful years. Phil Silvers, born on May 11, 1911, was a man whose career seemed full of promise but was clouded by moments of personal loss and professional struggles. He was 58 years old when he joined the Beverly Hillbillies in 1969, portraying Shifty Schaefer, or Honest John, a sly and comical figure who conned others with his sharp wit and cunning schemes. Despite his comedic brilliance, Silver's life outside the screen was far from smooth. His early career, although filled with successes, saw many shifts as he fought against typecasting, often playing the same role of a scheming, fast-talking character. His marriages, too, were tumultuous. He had 3 wives over the course of his life, with his second marriage ending in divorce after a long and bitter battle over custody of their children. His first marriage to actress Evelyn Patrick, with whom he had 2 daughters, ended when she tragically died of cancer. Silvers, a man known for his humor, could never quite escape the shadow of these tragedies. Another heartbreak came when his daughter, Tara, was in a serious car accident, leaving him emotionally shattered. Phil Silvers' death on November 1, 1985, was a quiet end to a life filled with highs and lows. He passed away from a heart attack at the age of 74. Frank Katy, born on September 8, 1915, was the epitome of the humble small-town storekeeper, Sam Drucker, in the Beverly Hillbillies. His character, always offering advice and assistance, became a beloved part of the quirky town of Hooterville. At 53 years old when he joined the show in 1968, Frank's career had already spanned decades, but it was his portrayal of Sam that brought him lasting recognition. Despite his professional success, Frank's life was marked by personal struggles. His marriage, though steady, was largely overshadowed by his constant commitment to his craft, leaving little room for family life. Frank and his wife, Shirley, raised 2 children, but their relationship was distant due to his dedication to his work, and his children often felt neglected. The failure to fully connect with his family weighed heavily on Frank. In his later years, he faced the loss of many close friends and colleagues, including some of his Beverly Hillbillies co-stars. Still, Frank found peace in his final years, largely reclusive, yet content with his life's body of work. He passed away on June 8, 2012, at the age of 96, due to natural causes. The sadness of a career that spanned decades but was never fully appreciated by the public seemed to mirror his quiet, unassuming exit from this world. Roy Roberts, born on March 19, 1906, was a seasoned actor with a long career in Hollywood, yet his role as John Cushing in the Beverly Hillbillies stands out. John Cushing was a firm, imposing figure, a man whose decisions shaped the lives of those around him with his authoritative demeanor. When he joined the series in 1963 at the age of 57, Roy was already an experienced actor, but his personal life painted a darker, more turbulent picture. Despite his success in television, his career was never quite as illustrious as he had hoped. He battled with rejection in the earlier years of his life, and his marriages were fraught with emotional struggles. His first marriage ended in divorce, and his second, to a woman named Eva, was marked by isolation and silence. They had no children, and the loneliness he felt in his personal life mirrored the coldness of his screen roles. His career faltered as the years passed, and by the time he was cast in the Beverly Hillbillies, he had already felt the sting of being relegated to supporting roles. He tried to reignite his career, but his efforts were often met with disappointment. His life seemed to lose meaning after the show ended, and he quietly faded into obscurity. Roy Roberts passed away on May 28, 1975, at the age of 69, due to a heart attack. Joy Lansing, born on April 6, 1929, was a beauty who captured the hearts of many, but behind her glamorous exterior, she was a woman struggling with deep personal turmoil. As Gladys Flatt in the Beverly Hillbillies, Joy played a charming and sophisticated character who was at ease in the world of wealth and luxury. When she joined the show in 1963 at the age of 34, Joy's career was on a steep rise, yet her personal life was filled with a sense of instability. Her marriages were always short-lived, and despite her outward appearance of happiness, Joy was often overwhelmed with the pain of unfulfilled dreams. Her first marriage, to actor and writer William M. Billy Townsend, ended in a bitter divorce. She had no children, and the void left by her broken marriages seemed to consume her. She later married radio executive John W. Aynard, but this relationship too ended in heartbreak. Joy's professional life mirrored her personal struggles. Although she enjoyed fame, the roles that could have defined her were scarce. Her health began to deteriorate, and in the early 1970s, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. She battled the disease in silence, but her strength began to fade. Joy passed away on August 7, 1972, at the age of 43, her life cut short by the very illness she fought so valiantly against. Kathleen Freeman, born on February 17, 1919, was a talented actress who brought to life the tough and no-nonsense character of Flo Schaefer in the Beverly Hillbillies. When she joined the show in 1963, at the age of 44, her commanding presence on screen was a stark contrast to the softer, more whimsical characters surrounding her. However, Kathleen's own life was not without its challenges. While her career flourished, especially as a character actress, she faced considerable personal pain. Her marriage to director and writer Ralph Freeman ended in divorce, leaving her heartbroken and estranged from her only son, who had moved away and cut ties after years of emotional distance. Kathleen never remarried, instead focusing on her work. Behind the camera, she struggled with feelings of loneliness and deep dissatisfaction, often retreating into the roles she played to mask her inner turmoil. The great tragedy of her life came in the form of a devastating health diagnosis. Kathleen was diagnosed with lung cancer, a battle she would fight quietly for many months. On August 23, 2001, at the age of 82, Kathleen Freeman passed away, leaving behind a legacy of strong, unforgettable characters, but a life marred by loss and personal sorrow. Percy Hton, born on January 31, 1894, was a beloved character actor known for his distinctive voice and memorable role as Homer Cratchit in the Beverly Hillbillies. By the time he joined the show in 1968 at the age of 74, Percy had already lived a full and tumultuous life. He had survived both the glory and the heartbreak of an acting career that spanned decades, but his personal life had been filled with tragedy. His first wife passed away unexpectedly, leaving Percy devastated and alone for many years. He never remarried, his career often overshadowing his personal life. Despite his iconic roles, Percy faced the bitter realities of aging, struggling to find work as Hollywood's preference shifted toward younger actors. His financial difficulties led to him being in a constant battle to support himself. Percy's health declined rapidly, and in his final years, he was frequently ill, often alone in his apartment, his career dwindling. On September 11, 1971, at the age of 77, Percy Hton passed away from natural causes, his death almost a footnote in the story of a man whose life had been filled with both creative triumphs and personal heartache. He was mourned by few, a tragic end for a man who had once been a fixture of Hollywood's golden age. Louis Nye, born on May 1, 1913, was known for his comedic timing, but his portrayal of the spoiled and humorous Sonny Drysdale in the Beverly Hillbillies was a stark contrast to the man behind the character. At 49 years old, when he joined the show in 1962, Louis had already established himself in comedy, yet his personal life was overshadowed by the weight of his own insecurities. Louis had struggled with self-doubt throughout his career. He was never the leading man, often cast in secondary or comedic roles, and he felt the sting of always being the other guy. His first marriage, to actress Dorothy Coster, ended in a painful divorce. His second marriage, to Mary Ellen, was fraught with the same pressures of his professional life. Louis had 3 children from his 2 marriages, but the family was often torn apart by his absence, both physically and emotionally. His health began to deteriorate in the early 2000s, and he was diagnosed with lung cancer. The disease weakened him both physically and mentally, and despite his lifelong battle to find his place in the world, he passed away on October 9, 2005, at the age of 92. His death was a quiet one, a final curtain on a long career marked by both triumph and the tragedy of never fully realizing his potential. Richard Deacon, born on May 14, 1921, was a stalwart of television and brought his steady presence to the Beverly Hillbillies as Dr. George Klingner, a character who balanced wisdom with authority. He joined the show in 1967 at 46, his career already well established through various sitcoms and dramas. While Deacon was respected as an actor, his personal life was far from smooth. His first marriage to actress Jane Day was plagued by infidelity, leading to a painful divorce. He then married another actress, but that union too ended in separation, leaving Deacon struggling with feelings of loneliness. His 2 children, a son and a daughter, remained estranged for much of his later years, unable to connect with their father in the ways he had hoped. One of the greatest tragedies of his life was his battle with depression, which stemmed from years of professional disappointments and failed relationships. Despite his success on screen, Deacon felt hollow, as if something vital was missing. In the end, it was his health that failed him. He died on August 8, 1984, at the age of 63 from cardiovascular disease, leaving behind a quietly tragic legacy of unspoken regrets and a life lived on the margins of greater success. What are your thoughts on the loss of the beloved actors from the Beverly Hillbillies? Which of them do you miss the most? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to stay updated with our newest videos.